Hi, my name is William Davis. I'm the owner of A.P.C Photography. We do sound, video, light, photography, and everything in between for events the size of 50 to 2,500. That being said, let's talk about why you should get a direct box if you are a DJ or if you are doing sound for anybody out there, why you should have your own direct box and which one I recommend at the moment for under $100. First off, I'm going to recommend this from Mackie. Very simple, very easy. The MD2P. And let's go over the whys and how and the benefits of it. First off, if you are a DJ and you are someone who goes to other people's sound systems and you don't know what they have, and you happen to have the classic mixer board that has the 1/4 inch outputs, lifesaver right here. This is stereo. You can actually run your outputs into here, have another set that goes directly to your speakers, your monitors you happen to like. A lot of times the DJs I work with have their own monitors, and be able to just DJ and have XLR outs in a stereo form to any mixer board there is. Simply put, if it's got an XLR input, this gives you an XLR output. That's your first benefit. Say, for example, you are somebody who plays piano, cello, or any other instrument that has a 1/4 output going to an XLR input, which is generally what you're going to be doing with anybody's system. Huge benefit here. Run in here, still got your throughout, so you can listen to any speaker you happen to have near you. Some do, some don't. In ears, whatever it is you're doing, you can still do that as you've always done and have a clean XLR out. This also has pads in it, so I have noticed with certain guitars and I have noticed with certain pianos that you get a little bit strong signal. Not always is it completely peaked, but it's a super strong signal. Being able to pad that signal by up to 15 decibels just by a click of a switch. Huge difference going into the mixer board so they can get a much better mix on the gain levels versus having a super high gain level and have to have your gain down low, maybe a pad on the board, and you can't quite get that mix you want sound-wise. And this is a huge advantage. Now, for those who happen to have guitars, acoustic guitars with outputs, ukuleles, any other instruments, happen to have your own microphone setup. I've seen a few of them that happen to be not quite full professional, but not quite consumer. Most of those are going to have a 1/4 output, and this will allow you to go from 1/4 to XLR, and it's clean and simple. Another advantage to this one here, if you're an audio person, is you can carry your normal 1/4 stereo cable to 1/4 stereo outputs, run those into here, and then you can have any other instrument that's like that. Or a laptop, which you can use a 1/8 inch cable to stereo output of 1/4, which I've done that a few times too for people who are putting their tracks on cell phones, iPads, laptops. These are things that make sound quality superb, even though you may not have the budget for superb, or you may be in a situation where a client doesn't know what they need to achieve superb. These are things that are really important when it comes to audio in your favor and for your client's favor, because we want them to have the most optimal, positive, exceptionally great situations when it comes to doing audio. And that's our job. Now, generally I'm on between 60 and 100 shows a year as an audio engineer, and then probably another 35 a year as either a video one, or I am the full TD, or I am a engineer for the whole situation that we're doing. And I found that a lot of the products that we work with can be optimal and powerful, but they don't always work the greatest because you need extra complex tools. And they're not really that complex, but they add areas of redundancy, which are great in a show where someone's budget is in the 5X's or the 6X's. But when you're in the 4X's and you can't really build in all the redundancies, then it comes down to having a product that's going to work every single time. Most of my DJs and most of the smaller venue audio situations are not paying in the 5X areas, they're paying in the 4X areas to get everything they need on the sound side of it. That doesn't mean the whole show isn't that much, it's just that particular portion of it. And being able to provide them with a nice product that works every single time, finding a good direct box that works for you is going to be important. I am going to recommend that you get one that is a passive one, not one that's an active one. The only reason why I recommend that is depending on what other equipment you're going to be attaching to your mixer board, having phantom power on is not always optimal or best for any other equipment that's going to be attached to it, i.e. laptops through 1/8 cables to XLR cables, and a few other things like that. Yes, this does kind of give you a little bit of a barrier against the 48 volt phantom power, but I wouldn't take the chance on that either. I would much rather have it just be all passive, and when you're going to need something that is going to be an active system where you do need phantom power, it's best to have the ability to control it. So having one of the digital mixers that are 16 channel, 12 channel, 32 channels, then you might want to go with the redundancy of the phantom power. Also, what can happen a lot of times is this happens in a lot of shows, so I'm going to continue on with some of the other reasons why going with passive is better than going with active, is you may be in a situation where you have to change out an artist's position in the show. You may have to make adjustments to equipment they have because they changed their mind on the equipment. This happens all the time. And having a passive versus an active, you lower the likelihood of having to do troubleshooting down the road when it comes to getting a signal to your audio board. And that's just huge. A lot of times you'll spend 5, 10, 15 extra minutes trying to figure out where in the signal chain am I losing the signal? How come this isn't working? If you're stressed and you're in a position where you were given a direct box that is active and the other one is passive and you did not know that, that can be an issue too. That's happened a few times on shows for all of us. There's anyone who hasn't had that happen. So as you are a DJ who may be the audio person, or you may be an audio person who is doing DJ work, having a tool that is easy to use is great. The other reason why I happen to like this particular one over a lot of the other ones, this one's stereo in one small component. So for example, you may have two artists going in a row. So one's just got a piano, and then the other one happens to have two guitars. That's happened to me a few times. And the advantage of this system is I can go from the piano to the two guitars and have two different input levels and have it stereo in one box. And this is huge if you have to do these transitions in 5 to 7 minutes while you got a DJ playing some music or some house music going on, and being able to do that rapidly and fast without having to worry about, is it passive, is it active, do I need two boxes on the stage? If it's that situation, I'll just bring one, frankly put, and it's nice to have just one box doing what two boxes used to do for me. Cost-wise, something like this is going to cost you anywhere between, an inexpensive one's like 60 bucks. More expensive ones can get in the couple $100 area. This one's actually like $80. Let's go to their website. Let's take a look at what that costs here real quick. Add to the scene. Yeah, this one's $79. Beautiful setup. Some of the features on it, just so if you wanted to go down and read the full feature list, let's go over that real quick. It's going to have a stereo capabilities to talk about keyboards and media players. Media players is basically saying anything that sends out audio, great. High impedance, 1/4 inputs throughout. That is nice. This also, along with that portion, if you go towards the bottom, I'll have a little added bonus to it. Has a balanced XLR connectors with ground lifts. It really does have low noise on this one. Really, really low noise. Does have the option of a pad, which 15 decibel pad is beautiful when you're in a situation where you're just on the edge of peaking. And then it has a parallel through output, which is really, really nice. Really what that means is, let me show you real quick. On this box, on the back side of it, you will see that there is an input and an output. And have a device go in, have a device come back out. to say their own personal speakers or their earphones that they have through a box controller is really, really nice. And then on the other side, you have the XLR that's going to be going to your unit. That could be whatever mixer you happen to have. So all around, like a really solid, positive situation. The last thing they said on there is built like a tank. That is like a Mackie trademark thing. So it is. It's all metal. There's very little to no, take that back. There's no plastic on this thing that I can find anywhere. It's solid metal. There is a little rubber piece on the bottom here that keeps things in place on the stage, so it's not gonna go sliding everywhere. But other than that, it's just a solid piece of work that as a DI, it just does a job. Most people are not thinking about the DI, but it's also one of the most important components. What we usually talk about, the smallest things make the biggest things work. This is one of those small things that makes the big sound work. So I appreciate you watching. This isn't what I do all the time, but I thought I'd knock out 2 or 3 of these tonight and just talk about this particular product. As you can see, at home, relaxing. I'm not in the office. I'm not in the normal corporate environment, not in dress clothes to make it look cool. This is just talking about product to people who do this on a daily basis. And if you're a DJ and you are looking for a solid item to add to your box, or if you're just a local sound person who's doing events that are 50 people to 500 with 4 or 8 speakers, great device to have. You're going to have success, your clients are going to have great results, and you're going to have less of the headaches going into multiple different mixer boards, because a lot of times you find yourself using whatever product is there and you're skilled and you're a jack of all trades. This gives you another tool to put in that toolbox. All right, thank you very much for watching. Y'all take care. Peace.